Hello and welcome to the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation CISM Live series, where we connect with CISM subject matter experts and strategic partners live on YouTube. My name is Kelly and I am the host of the CISM Live series. If you enjoy the content being shared today, please consider giving this video a like down below. Today, we're actually joined by guest speakers Joe Ramirez from Lighthouse Health and Wellness and Rody from the 100 Club of Arizona. Joe Ramirez is the founder and CEO of Apex Mobile and Lighthouse Health and Wellness. Joe's firm belief in civic responsibility has encouraged him to apply his expertise to organizations he founded to fill gaps in technology and support for public safety agencies nationwide. Through his work with public safety across the country, Joe is introduced to the 100 Club of Arizona and helped them build the technology behind two statewide programs to address responder wellness. His work in Arizona opened his eyes to the health and wellness challenges that our nation's first responders face, along with the critical lack of funding allocated to sustainably address these challenges. Having a team and technology that can make an immediate impact, Joe founded Lighthouse Health and Wellness as a public benefit corporation with a mission of ensuring that every public safety agency in the US has the ability to provide its employees and those that support them with confidential and anonymous access to health and wellness information. Rody currently serves as the programs manager for the 100 Club of Arizona, where she leads solutions-based programming for Arizona's first responder community. In this role, she emphasizes the importance of holistic wellness for public safety personnel and their families. Ms. Rody often engages in innovative technology to promote access to critical resources that improve and support those she serves. Throughout her career, Rody has continued to serve as an advocate in both the government and private sectors. She is often called upon to provide training and professional development on current trends and best practices in officer wellness, mental health, domestic violence, crisis intervention, and advocacy. Ms. Rody has extensive experience in program management and serves as a peer reviewer for the U.S. Department of Justice. Welcome, Joe and Iva.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks, Kelly.
So as mentioned earlier, the inspiration for Lighthouse Health and Wellness platform and the app came from the 100 Club of Arizona. They recognized a critical need for digital resources to provide first responders and their families confidential and anonymous access to mental health and wellness initiatives, addiction awareness tools, assessments, and sensitive yet timely direction towards treatment and care. Today, we're actually going to be learning more about the history, how it's been useful to peer support and other public safety members, and how you and your agency or organization can learn more about getting your own app. So Joe, what is Lighthouse Health and Wellness?
Yeah, so Lighthouse Health and Wellness, we're a public benefit corporation, as you mentioned, and our mission is, as you clearly stated, is just to ensure that everybody has the ability, every public safety agency can give their employees the ability to access confidentially and anonymously health and wellness information. We do this in a couple of ways, and I'll let Iva touch on what they've done with Bulletproof and Fireproof, but we've taken some of the great work that Arizona did in helping them build those two amazing programs and allowed us to wrap those within a custom application for every agency. So essentially what we do is we give an agency fully branded, fully customizable app that they can put on their employees, family members, retirees' devices that has access to a wonderful library of information that includes a lot of the great resources initially developed by the 100 Club in Arizona, resources I know we're sharing from your organization, and just other like-minded folks and organizations that support these folks with good no cost and cost resources. But we focus on the no cost side. We develop that program and help them launch and then update apps specifically for their agency at no cost. Agencies can participate. I won't get into the different dollar amounts, but it's pretty small stuff. And any money that we do make as a public benefit corporation, we insist on investing back into responder health and wellness and support. So no dollar that comes through Lighthouse leaves the responder wellness ecosystem. So in a nutshell, that's what we do at Lighthouse Health and Wellness.
That's amazing. Iva, what can you tell us about the 100 Club of Arizona?
So the 100 Club of Arizona, we're a statewide nonprofit. We've been around just over 60 years now providing assistance and support to Arizona public safety. And one of the unique things about our programs is that they are statewide. A lot of 100 clubs serve an area or region. Our nonprofit serves the entire state of Arizona. And in 2008, around 2008 or so, we actually launched Bulletproof as a health and wellness website, and that was specific to law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And we found, around 2019 that people weren't really accessing web pages as much anymore. Everything was so app-based that we really need to take a look at how we were doing or offering Bulletproof as a resource. In addition to that, there's so much more ability to expand content and programming around officer wellness, as well as we also serve fire. And so we needed to expand out that way as well. And so around 2019, we started planning for how we wanted to do that, really taking what we were doing with Bulletproof and making it more holistic in its approach, and having a lot more content areas, and then taking it to the next level through the use of technology. And so that's where Joe and I started talking about what some of those possibilities could look like as far as mobile application, and went into our planning process for expanding Bulletproof and then creating what is now Fireproof. And so we have 2 mobile applications now, Bulletproof and Fireproof. We've also engaged a lot of online and virtual webinar platforms in the apps as well, as far as offering training in addition to information, resource, and content that way. And so in doing so, we decided not only is this beneficial to the state of Arizona, but what could we do to maybe branch out a little further, because we know these are not unique challenges to Arizona. There's certainly challenges being faced across the nation. And so for Joe to come to the table with Lighthouse really helped to answer that question.
Well, and that kind of ties into the next question. So can you expand upon why there was such a need for such projects within your specific area, and kind of why they got created in the first place? Like, what did you see within your specific area to start that initiative?
Yeah, so just like some of the challenges being faced around the country, things were coming to light about the high suicide rates and stress and those sort of things that we're seeing in our first responders. And so the research started to come out with that data that was, again, not unique to Arizona, but we knew we did have that platform already, and that it was time to just take it to the next level based on those needs that, we were seeing. Some of our programming that we have at the 100 Club, in addition to our mobile applications and training, we do provide financial assistance, and we support public safety members who are experiencing challenges. So basically, when the 100 Club is there when really bad things happen. And one of those things being challenges with post-traumatic stress and some other mental health needs. And so we were seeing requests coming in from multiple agencies who were having personnel who were really struggling with mental health, substance abuse, those sort of things. And so those applications coming in also sparked that need for us here locally.
Awesome. So what makes these apps unique from other apps out there for crisis responders?
I think the biggest part with what we have is we're a technology company. First, on my side, I'm a technology company first. I've been developing stuff on the internet for over 20 years. And my background, oddly enough, had no reason how I got introduced to IVA with this project. But once I saw it and connected with my previous background, which was running some of the largest consumer-facing health and wellness websites in the United States, I said, hey, wait a minute, there's a set that we can do to do that. So I think the understanding of how to apply technology to serve specific health and wellness problems, number one, coming from a technology perspective, and two, just the flexibility of what we've built. I don't think I have said no to an agency yet to can your platform do. And I just don't think that's really out there. And we really tailor it as it's not a one-size-fits-all solution to every single agency. every agency, every state has its own nooks and crannies and things they do and can't do and what's important. And I just think our ability to adapt and react, not only our agency apps that we develop, but working with IVA. So I think anything that Iva and I say, anybody that's listening, is we're very much partnered. The technology that we continue to develop, we make available to the 100 Club of Arizona. Programs and resources that Arizona does, we make available. Their webinars, your webinars, we make sure we make available, and are sharing all this information across everywhere. So I think in the technology wise, that really makes us different. The other part is that we are truly just resource agnostic. We want to just make sure that people know that there are things available to them. There's so many resources, and that really blew my mind when I got into this world. Is it's not that there's a lack of stuff to help these folks. It's just helping connect them with the resources that are applicable. And there's so many at times even that how do you get through the noise of so many resources and present somebody the right thing at the right moment at the right time? And I think our ability and just kind of the way we're building the organization around, an app, yeah, but there's a lot around it that needs to adapt and evolve with that. And I think our approach to that, the government, nonprofit / private, all collaborating with one goal in mind approach, and it's not money, it's actually impacting responder wellness in a meaningful way. I think that makes us a little different as a program as well.
So then how do these programs and resources, how are these sustainable long-term?
I'll just add to what Joe said. One of the things that we do at the 100 Club, as well as with Lighthouse, is we partner and collaborate across the board. And so we don't proclaim to be necessarily experts in any one area of wellness, but we find the right partners to bring content development to the table. And so it really is truly a collaborative effort outside of Arizona, outside of Lighthouse, just all together. I think that is, in fact, one thing that does help make it sustainable is we're able to keep the content fresh, up to date, and use current best practices. Which really helps to kind of spread the wealth when we're talking about really great content and information. For Arizona specifically, the 100 Club is a nonprofit that's partnering with all public safety agencies across the state, which is what helps make it sustainable for those agencies, right? Because we take on the responsibility of ensuring that content is fresh and ready to go, working closely with Lighthouse so that our technology is functioning, as well as taking on those financial aspects that some agencies, if not most, really can't afford to do. And so the 100 Club takes that piece on, and we're so well supported by the community that we're able to commit to that. We also made a decision early on to choose a technology partner that was fiscally responsible. And so we did not make any commitments that we can't, 5, 6, 8, 10 years down the road still sustain. So that was important to us in the early stage, was we need to build something sustainable because that was the responsible way to put such a great resource out there.
And to follow up on that too is with Lighthouse. So the other company that I have that we use the technology to do, Apex Mobile, we gave the technology to Lighthouse. So there's no technology cost for us to do this, which for most people to try and build apps, that's kind of where all the cost goes to. So by removing that cost from the equation, we've immediately addressed a financial sustainability piece for it. And then we do have a model where we're working with other nonprofits, other corporate folks to help ensure that, the lights stay on regardless. We want to grow and we want to do more, but on the financial side, that's there. But the key part, I think, is removing, and, especially when it comes to government and public safety, and how often, and unfortunate right now, that we're relying upon one-off grants for most of this programming. Those just by nature aren't necessarily sustainable. And if we can remove the cost piece, and I think for these programs to be effective across the board, any kind of wellness program, especially when we're working through the culture that is the first responder culture, these are the people that come help us. They don't want to feel they need help. So, there's a lot of cultural competency training going on within an organization saying, hey, yeah, it's okay to do these pieces. You can't all of a sudden take that away because there's no funding next year. These aren't if you launch it, they will, if you build it, it's not the field of dreams. It's something that's going to take a year to 2 years to 3 years to develop, understand, get the buy-in from culturally within an organization. And by removing any kind of financial piece from that, we know that we've solved a really big part of the problem in terms of sustainability with most government organizations, which is at the end of the day funding.
It is. I mean, a lot of the organizations even that we meet, you know, with regard to our education and training programs, a lot of them, it comes down to funding. So I think it's amazing what both of your organizations are currently doing. So what, if any, requirements does an agency have when it comes to implementation?
So with the agencies we work with, we've really kind of minimized the process for them for what they have to do to get started. And we have a programs team. And when an agency is interested in signing up for Bulletproof or Fireproof, we kind of walk them through just a very simple process to get them set up, to get somebody who can be their contact person and help educate them on the areas within our two apps that they can customize and provide some specific information to their personnel. Lighthouse has a few other offerings that I know Joe's going to talk about. And then if we have an agency that wants to move in that direction, we certainly work closely with Lighthouse to help connect them.
And on our end too, it's the same. You know, we want to make it as low lift. You know, the other problem to launching something is it's not just money, it's time for organizations. So we do our best to streamline the process. And, you know, having done, you know, quite a few of these now, we know the main buttons most agencies are going to want to have even in their custom app. So we kind of come out the gate with an app ready to go for them. And the flexibility of our platform allows them to add as time goes. So, you know, it's more about putting something in folks' hands so they know there's a resource and we can always build upon it. The implementation side, you know, and we have agencies that are really dialed in. They've got peer support teams and, you know, directories, therapist directories, all kinds of great information they want to include. And we work with them, literally just send it to us and we'll do our best to get it in and take as much of that lift as possible off of them, as well as provide them with materials for launch to help promote and an ongoing promote. And I think that's another piece that IVA does very well at 100 Club as well, is it's after they start the process, following up and seeing, you know, are you using it? So we have statistics that we don't know who looks at anything because everything is confidential, anonymous, but we do know in aggregate, you know, is it being used? And we can look at that at an agency level and at least be able to say, hey, well, you've got 1,000 employees, you know, you had 100 views. What can we do to help you increase that? What resistance are you making and reaching out to them? But I think the biggest commitment that an agency needs to make is just to give us an advocate that we can reach out to and connect with, and at least, you know, try and find what we can do to help that advocate. I kind of equate what we do really at Lighthouse is we're a FedEx van. You know, I've got the van, I can load it up. And I know that everybody needs toilet paper and water, right? So we can load those pieces in it, but I don't know what needs to be delivered specifically to your neighborhood or your home. That's what we work with our drivers, which are our contacts that are on the ground at the agency, and say, okay, here's the van. We know we've got all the resources. We probably even have resources that you don't know exist. Let us help you load that van. And what can we do to help you get that van to its destination, which is, you know, your individual employees, your family members. What do we need to do with it there? So I think the biggest piece when it comes to implementation is just having somebody that an agency can give a little bit of rope to work with us and the time to be able to try and push these programs out at about bottom level.
Awesome. So can you guys both tell me, how have these apps been useful to peer support and other public safety members that you've come across or spoken to?
Yeah, so one of the things, you know, our focus was to get this information and resource in the hands of first responders and their families. And one of the unintended benefits that we saw was that peer support teams are able to actually use this as a toolbox for them. Instead of having to grab a clipboard or some pamphlets or try to remember a resource that they've used before, they merely have to download the app on their phone. And then when they go and work directly with somebody, instead of having to hand out pamphlets or write down phone numbers on a sticky pad or something like that, they can actually have their peer download the app as well and identify those resources. And so it just really became the super user-friendly, accessible toolkit for peer support members. And so what that did for Joe and I is really spark a conversation about, well, how can we really take this idea of a toolkit to the next level? And so we're actually wrapping up some further development within all the apps, the Lighthouse, Bulletproof, and Fireproof, to truly make it an engaging toolkit portal for peer support members. So it really did take that really amazing turn when we're talking about peer support and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. And to add on what Iva said is the kind of where the customization of what we're able to do with our platform is, while we never want the individual employee, officer, family member, employee logging in, having to share any kind of confidential information, our peer support teams might not mind doing that. And if they don't, and we can create a section, we can give each agency's or organization's peer support team a unique, different experience based on the resources that they as a team have available to respond to their folks. Push notifications that go directly to the peer support team members to coordinate, if there's an incident. Collaboration boards. For a couple of agencies that I know work with you guys that are your teams, we have your after action reports, right? So if you do your CISM after action, you've got this little checklist you need to fill out and organize. They can do all that through their app now. And we've customized it with a couple of other questions that agency specifically wanted to ask for. So I think that's kind of as Iva said, our first goal has been just getting anything in the hands of most folks at our organizations. Just, hey, here's a resource that there's something you want to talk to somebody, you want to know where you can go, at a basic level. But as we've continued to work with folks, the power of being able to deliver really specialized content and information to the actual peer support team members and support them, in that role is something I think that we're going to continue to expand and grow upon. But it's kind of an unintentional, but really cool, powerful thing that we have that we're exploring together. And that's also the neat part. And I just, as somebody who didn't work in public safety forever, who's now been in this world for about 6 years, how collaborative agencies are, with being able to share resources. And, it's not, I figured it out and we're not going to tell anybody. And that's been really neat. And I think it's not just between agencies, but between like organizations like the three of ours, where it's like, okay, here's the mission and here's where it is. Oh, great. Here's a tool. Here's what we have you can use for your people. And that's just been a really neat thing as somebody coming into this world to see this many people who are, just willing to achieve the goal. And it's kind of the egos are kind of put aside. So that's been a real pleasure in doing this as well.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, the common goal for all of our organizations and agencies is to get the help out to those crisis responders and public safety members. So that's the important part of it. So are there any new developments in the works for the apps that you can share?
We just recently added some really cool pieces to Bulletproof and Fireproof. We added a kids corner. And it's a section within the app. It's kind of on the front facing side before you get back into all the other content, but it's focused on kids, first responders, children. And so there's some activities in there. There's some intentional kind of questions and conversations around, what do first responders do and things like that. And so that's really a focus for us in Arizona. We're focusing on youth. We're bringing a youth council on right now for the organization. And so adding this kids corner to the app, so something we're really kind of excited about it. It adds a little bit of fun flavor, and our goal is to engage families. And so this is one area where we can really do that. So that's our biggest kind of exciting development here in Arizona. Joe, do you got anything going on over there in Lighthouse?
Yeah, we got a couple little things happening, but we have a big one coming. One of our big things is how do we make this available not just to agencies that are participating, because nothing against the agencies, they just don't all have the resources, as I said, to make it successful. So I think we're both evaluating ways that we can make the programming that we've done more available, regardless if your agency has said go, because so much of the information we have is just universal across everybody anyway. So I think that's a big piece that we've got a pretty good plan, and hopefully probably by end of year, we're going to be making some changes that help us address that. But then really, I think more from our end, it's the onboarding process, just even making it easier and faster to, we get a lot of, and I know Iva has too. I think you guys are up to 150, 160 agencies participating across the two. And I think including them across everywhere we're at 300 or 400 now that not directly we touch, but through organizations also like 100 Club that we touch. And then that's the hurdle, is giving them the tools to be able to get this information out. So I think that's kind of more what our focus on at the moment is resource and tool development for our drivers, for the folks that we're interacting with, and giving them tools to get the buy-in from their organizations to give them the time to do it. That's kind of more where our focus on the immediate future is.
Awesome. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing those updates. So how can individuals, agencies, or other organizations learn more about the Lighthouse Health and Wellness apps and the 100 Club of Arizona?
Take it away, Iva.
Yeah, we have all the information on our webpage, of course. We have a wellness webpage, and you can find all the information about the apps there. We've done a lot to create informational videos and other sorts of tools for agencies to really get a sense of what they can do with the app, and also have our implementation toolkits on our webpage as well. And so just to reiterate, our apps, Bulletproof and Fireproof, are available at no cost for any public safety agency across the state of Arizona. And then of course, outside of Arizona would be Joe's wheelhouse, which is Lighthouse, and I'm sure their information's on their webpage. But Joe, you want to add to that?
A little bit, yeah. No, that's it. Lighthouse, lighthousehw.org is our website, and just click the Contact Us button, and we'll get right back to you with whatever, be it an agency or an individual looking on how they can help support these initiatives. That's as easy as it is.
That's amazing. Well, thank you guys both again for coming on and actually talking a little bit about both of these amazing app products and about your organizations overall and how you're making a difference in crisis responders and public safety workers nationwide. That's incredible.
And definitely thank you to you guys and ICISF. You guys, I think, were one of our first big supporters that kind of saw what we did. Let me explain, you were our first outside of the 100 Club of Arizona, who we were born of in a way. But, so we really appreciate that early response for us, because it did help us grow in doing what we're being able to do, to have an organization like yours kind of, put your logo behind ours a little bit. So we really appreciate that from your end, and anything we can do to help you or your members, especially make sure you say you're coming from you guys, and we'll be sure to treat you even better.
Of course, we'll make sure to keep all of our supporters and members updated of that too. To learn more about Lighthouse Health and Wellness app, you can actually visit their website, as Joe said, at www.lighthousehw.org. And to learn more about the 100 Club of Arizona, you can visit their website, which is www.100club.org. Both links are actually in the description below. And you want to make sure to keep an eye out on the ICISF website, www.ICISSamFisandFrank.org, or sign up for email updates to stay informed of exciting news from both of these strategic partners coming soon. I'd like to thank Joe and Iva again for joining us today to learn more about these amazing products for crisis responders and public safety members. If you've enjoyed the content being shared today, make sure to give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment down below. You can join the ICISF for the next CISM Live series, where we will be joined in August by Dr. George Everly to speak about resilient leadership. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.